Hello, viewers. We take this time again to meet on our podcast. Today we have our guests, Kelly Inspiration, and those who have been following us, those who have been taking time to go through our videos. We really appreciate for your time. We appreciate for your feedback, and we hope we keep enlightening each other so that we can learn and become better in this journey of leadership. So today I want to invite you again, my brother. You've been very helpful to us in terms of taking us through what it takes to be a leader, the journey of transformation, the journey of change. Maybe just an opening remark from you, even as we look forward today to really looking into the issue of leadership at large.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me once again to share on the transformative to share on issues that
Yes. Yeah.
are meant to transform lives.
Mm.
Yes, we are looking forward to having a very powerful session, especially the topic for today where we are talking about the Gen Zs.
Mm, mm, mm,
You see, this is the future that we have, and someone made a very powerful statement
mm,
that if you appeal to the youth, then your future is guaranteed.
mm.
If you can't appeal to the youth, then your future is
It's
already
not
dead in
guaranteed.
advance.
Wow.
Yes.
Mm. That's great. And like our guest has said, today we are looking at the whole discussion about Gen Zs. We've seen a lot happening in our country where we have now a vibrant generation that is saying it is leaderless, it is formless, and they are bringing a new side of politics. And you've been taking us through a lot of transformational talk, telling us, we should not be comfortable where we are, we should pursue change. What do you think about this generation that is formless? It is leaderless, and we are used to traditional politics whereby we know regions are led by specific people, our tribal inclination of politics. We now have a new set of blood who are not respecting those traditional boundaries of politics.
You see, number one, the Gen Zs said they didn't have a leader, they are leaderless
Mm,
for a reason. It was not just a funkified statement, it just meant to look funky and the rest. But you see, we've known the political trend. The moment your leader is known, it is either the leader will be called aside to be compromised
mm.
or the leader will be tortured.
Okay.
I would say that.
Yes, either tortured or
Or
compromised.
compromised.
Mm.
So, in order not to set anyone, to
Mm.
put anyone in danger,
Mm.
or to be at a position, or to make yourself vulnerable for sabotage,
Mm.
what you do is you just be anonymous.
Mm.
And of course, that worked to some extent. If they had a leader,
Mm.
that force would be quenched long time ago.
But maybe to still bring it out in a good way,
Yes.
you are being leaderless,
Mm.
but you are participating in a game that has structures.
But
What is the end game?
you see, that was now. It also requires a strategy because if there is no leader, then you can't even negotiate because who will you negotiate with? So I think that that aspect should be handled in a different way
Mm.
because there's no environment that there's nowhere. I mean, nothing can survive without leadership.
Mm.
I
Mm.
would say that.
Mm.
But it should be done in such a way that you get someone who cannot be easily compromised. But you see, we've seen people come up very vibrant and very enthusiastic.
Mm.
But the person they become after meeting the who and who's will surprise you.
Mm.
They mellow down and become like they never said anything.
Mm.
So these are things which have been happening.
Mm.
Okay, you see, it is something that just started, but subject to renovation.
Mm.
So a lot of things can still be brought in to beef it up and make it better.
Mm.
But I can tell you, the Gen Z generation is a very powerful generation because it came up with unique way of doing things.
Mm.
For years, people have ignored youths.
Mm.
People have ignored these young people because they never used to involve themselves in politics.
Mm.
Yes, they were just there. Most of them were used to cause chaos. Whenever politicians wants to pass the agenda or they want to castigate the opponent, they used to be used to cause chaos left and center. I agree with that. But I think they thought it beyond mere causing chaos to causing a change. And they voiced themselves, they voiced their ideas, which was well received. And I can tell you for a fact, I really appreciate our president in a sincere way, because most leaders would just bulldoze their ideas, whether they like it or not. But it come down, which a level, which actually a virtue worth emulating in leadership.
That's the president.
Yes, to listen to these people, which he did. And of course, there are changes that came as a result of such. Of course, there are a few other things that happened thereafter, but you just have to recognize that. So the Gen Z is very powerful. These people are well informed. These people have the energy. These people have the time, and these people are united. You could see there were people who would even carry food to the streets. I saw some people carrying buckets of mandazi to give to the people, those who are demonstrating. Yes. I saw people sharing water with even police. I went to that. So that kind of power is very important. You can't ignore that.
Wow. But then now, I'm looking at it. They are united. They are bringing a new side of politics whereby they don't ascribe to an individual who can easily be bought. And we saw the government trying to handle it in a way that is not violent by trying to listen to them, trying to make a few changes which they had raised out. But do you think towards the end of the demonstrations they were properly handled, or how did it go? When I ask what is the future of Gen Z in the current political system, what will be your opinion? Because if you are remaining leaderless, then how do you go into a political contest? Or how do you then make an informed mind who to support? Because they know what they want, they are educated, but how will they now utilize that unity, that information to make a political statement?
Now, you realize that towards the end, these people do not have a solid agenda. The first agenda, the agenda that brought them together, was about the finance bill.
Yes.
Which was actually abolished. After that, we expected that probably it will go down. Because at least that was the main one. So other issues came up. They were developed to push on the Gen Z thing. But we discovered that they were not as cogent as the previous one. They were not as convincing as the previous one. And that is why you discover that some Gen Z started backing up. Started, stepping backwards. So there remained a few. The number reduced, the passion reduced. The moment the numbers reduced and the passion has reduced, definitely they did not have the force to execute it. That is why they became powerless at some point. And you also realize that, the political games that the president and Raila did also watered them down. Because as much as the Gen Zs, these Gen Zs also originate from somewhere.
Yes.
And when they see that people who we originate from have shaken hands, then you realize that your power is already punctured. So they couldn't proceed with the previous zeal. So that is one of the things that actually crippled the Gen Zs to some point. But those people are still powerful and you can't ignore them whatsoever. You could see them greeting people. It's called Nasalamia Mutu. And a number of people are greeted directly and indirectly.
Yes. I used to see phone numbers being shared on Twitter.
Yes.
And we are told Salamia so and so.
Yes, Salamia so and so. And whenever your number was submitted for greetings, in a few seconds, they already know you where you live, they know your children, they know everything. They even know your sidekick. For those who had. And they post all of them there. So you realize that even if they don't beat you physically, the kind of emotional trauma they will subject you to, you will feel their presence. Yes.
Wow, that's great. Yes. So, you say they did not have the agenda dwindled with time. They started with a strong agenda, but then towards the end, the fire started burning out.
Yes.
And what do you think are the key pillars they should focus on, even as we head towards the election time?
You see, number one key pillar, they
yes.
should talk about electing the right leaders. That is the most important thing. Electing the right leaders. We've had people, you see, we've had people who we know are not very good leaders. And they even themselves, they know that they cannot convince the citizen on merit. But they come and splash money like nonsense. And you see, money is another power of its own. The moment people see money, they forget about anything to do with policy, and they focus on chewing money, and end up electing a very wrong person. So that has been a case also. What I would tell Gen Z is, you see, a time comes when the only stone you can carry is your voting card. I'll go to that. So let them go and get the voting card. Let them go and register as voters. With that, you have the power. Then you come up together to elect the person that you want to be the leader. Elect someone with the confirmed records. Someone who has clean records of leadership. Someone who has done something that we've seen, that this thing was started by so and so and accomplished. But don't just go to the political bush and pick any other person because the person is eloquent. No. You will receive eloquent mistakes and trouble.
Receive eloquent mistakes and trouble.
Powerful one like that. There are people who can package themselves very well. They words. Can dress well. The way they speak like they're just descending from heaven. But put them on the ground to execute nothing. Yes. So if you've seen someone executing nothing, don't expect a miracle when you elect them as a leader.
When you elect them.
They will still duplicate nothing. Yes.
Wow, that's great. And maybe as we move forward, what do you think is the misconception the old generation has towards this
Yes,
Gen Zs?
the misconception, number one, they think these were very rude.
Okay.
And, lack character, lazy, and so on and so forth. Yes, and even, perverse when it comes to behavior in terms of drugs and all kinds of things. But you see, you can call them lazy, but remember, most machines that we use currently were discovered by lazy people.
How?
Who are trying to find an easy way of doing something.
How?
Machine for washing clothes.
Yes.
A hardworking person will not bother getting a machine for what? I have enough energy to wash clothes manually. But it called for a lazy person who did not want to expend the energy washing clothes with the hand to think about a machine.
Isn't that strategy?
It's not strategy. It's a strategy that was inspired by laziness. I agree with that. Yes, you can call these people lazy, but you realize that what you used to do manually, they will do with their phones. What you do sweating through your teeth, they will just a click of a computer, they will do it. So you realize that the energy moved from the muscles on your hand to the bicep and tricep, and moved to the bicep and tricep of the brain. So you may not see them really moving around, but when some of them have built their mind, their head office very well, and they perform very well in their area. Okay? Now, of course, we can call them perverse generation, which is true. A number of things are happening. Some of them, you meet a teenager, and if you check the records of that teenager, they have done things that you have not even imagined of this life. Yes, some of them have done things that you have not even imagined in this life. Yes, so a lot of things are happening. It is in the same generation where you find a young girl, a teenager, almost clicking 20 or early 20s, telling you, I made up my mind, I will never be poor whatsoever. And they can even go diabolic
to ensure
that they don't go broke. Do you know some men are being seduced through the dark powers? Yes. Bro, these things happen. Some men are even
teach me, sir.
I don't need to teach you.
I need to go down.
You not use it. It's a useless knowledge to you. But that happens. Some people go to the point of trying to look for dark powers just to seduce men who have money. Yes. Wow. So a lot of things are happening. People are very desperate to get the good life, and they can do anything. Yes.
So, as a transformational speaker, then how do you, in your training, bridge that gap where we have an old generation, not old as per se, but in terms of time, who have their own values system? Then we have this generation trying to challenge the traditional way of doing things. How do you, in your journey, try to bridge that gap so that you help those in the millennials onwards to understand the Gen Z, and Gen Z also to resonate with the other.
Yeah, first of all, it requires to require someone to be open-minded. When you are open-minded, you know where you are limited, and you know where someone else can do better than you. So the older generation, the millennials and above, should be open-minded to know that some things are that the Genesis have advantage over certain things, and accept them and incorporate them where necessary. Yes. And also the Genesis should also understand that you know what's happening. These people have an experience, and there is a level of wisdom that only comes through experience. That is why you need to listen sometimes and know how life goes. There are people who have made enough mistakes, and from their mistakes you can. Have you realized that no matter how much technology changes, the principles of life never change?
Explain to us.
Bro, you mess up, it will catch up with you. Yes. You mess up your life.
Technology will not
technology will
erase
not
it.
erase it. That it remains like that. No matter how things change, those things remain. The repercussion, the consequences of mistakes remain the same. Have you read that? Yeah. So you can call someone outdated, backdated, and the rest. But you discover that sometimes they can share with you information that can help you in the future, because it's either they have made the same mistake and learned from them, or they've seen people close to them messing up big time. Yes.
So what is the future, maybe in your own say, as a transformational and leadership trainer? What is the future of the Kenyan political landscape with the reality of the generation you are in now, where there's a competing interest between a leaderless generation and a traditional based clientele leadership, whereby if I'm coming from a particular region, so and so is my leader, and whatever he directs us to vote, that's how we vote. How do you see the interplay happening as we move forward?
Number one thing is that if the Gen Zs come together, if the Gen Zs unite, we like to have very new faces in the political arena. Yes. We are likely to have very new faces in the political arena. People who are coming up because they've been given a chance by Gen Z based on what they have done on the ground. So that is number one. Number two, we must have more of leadership and less of politics. Yes, you've seen MCS being forced to walk on the rough road. You have seen the MPs being forced to walk on the rough road that they promised to construct,
the roads,
but they never done anything. So the moment you know that is happening on the ground, you not joke with the promises you made. You will actually go and execute, so that you avoid such. Have you done that? Yes. So we are likely to have leaders and not mere politicians coming out of the same. Yes, because the moment you know that the Gen Zs are furious and they can take you out of that position anytime, you cannot joke there. But before we would have people who just come out and do nonsense and probably expect that good connections will take them back to the seat. Yes, but this time around we have people who are like political watchdogs to ensure that everything falls in place. So we are likely to have a new breed of leaders. Second to that, we are likely to have leaders and less of politicians, because people are watching on the ground. Remember I told you last time that nowadays everyone is a journalist. Yes. Everyone is a journalist, because
with
you have
a gadget
smartphones
in the hand.
Yes, you try nonsense, you don't know where your video reached. Someone captured it a long time ago. So you promise, as you're promising they're capturing you. Then as you come to the ground to do nonsense, they're also seeing what's happening. So one day they will turn up against you and deal with you ballistically. Yes.
So you promised us this, and
you can't promise air. As you promise air, people are recording. Yes.
And let's say maybe the head of state is listening to you at this time. Maybe as the person in charge of the state and trying to work to ensure that there's a proper political transition to a peaceful election. and with the realities of the generation we have now,
Mm.
what would be your advice to him and the government, even as we prepare and plan for the coming election, whereby young people are eager for that election because they want to make a statement by electing people who they think resonates with them. How does he, as a sitting head of state, plan in such a way that the elections are peaceful? They allow these young people a chance to be able to make that particular statement.
Yes. First of all, if I have to advise the leader of the state, that's the president, I have to do it. We have to do it with a lot of humility, because you understand this is someone who is a political enigma. These are political fireworks who has been there for years, who has known what is happening. They know deep things that you cannot understand, all kinds of things. But what I would say in a nutshell is that leadership is not an emotional thing. Leadership is something that you go with your logic. Yeah, there are people who you can appeal to you emotionally. There are people that you did a few things with here and there and you like them, but the truth is that they may not have the capacity to perform for the people. So such people, you may need to either put them somewhere else or they use the exit. It's a very painful experience, but for the sake of a better country, I suggest that the people that are chosen to be around the president should be well tested so that they don't offer gases, they offer right information. Second to that, listening to people is very profound. It's very, very important. But you see, it also needs to be done well, the right way. Otherwise, you may not listen to anything. There are people who are just talking because their mouth is present, but not because they have anything important to say. They're just talking because they woke up and
they found that their mouths can open.
Yes, they open. They don't have words to say first. They open their mouth. When the mouth is open, they find words to cough off. So see, such kind of things are happening because there are many opinions coming per day which you can't implement all. So that's why as a leader, you need your independent mind to be able to make such a decision after verifying the information that you get. So as much as you listen to people, there's an extent to listening to people. If there is an extent. Yes, there is an extent to listening to certain people where you now make up your mind to make your personal decision and push it through. Sometimes, as a leader, the very first thing that defines a leader is vision. Ability to foresee the preferred future. The moment you are able to see that preferred future, you now develop strategy to take people there. Some strategies may not help, may not be really appealing to the people at the present. But as you keep pushing them, they begin seeing green lights. They will join you to celebrate it. It's, for example, getting someone who is dislocated in the leg. When someone is dislocated in the leg, the process of fixing this person's leg is very excruciating, very painful. When I don't know whether have you seen where they fix leg before? And they try to tie it somehow and try to put some tree, some sticks, and it's always a very painful experience. If someone who doesn't understand such kind of things happening, someone who has not seen such happening may think that the person doing that is wicked, but the person is trying to fix it. So sometimes, as a leader, there are certain decisions that you will make that may not be popular to many of the people that you're leading. Like the proverb goes that on your way to the mountain, you will step on some. On your way to the mountain, you will step on some shrub or some vegetation in the process. You step on them as you go up. There are some vegetation that will die as you're walking
to the mountain.
I'm not talking about now. Someone should not now translate that to mean physical death of a human being, but you will step on some vegetation. You have to step on some grass as you're moving to the mountain. Number one, a leader should not be nice. Yes. A leader should be right. Yes. Yes. All the leaders that people have hailed globally were not nice people. They were right people doing the right thing, not nice things. Yes.
When they're able to change them, they now cope
That's the
up with
truth.
them.
That's the truth. And in most cases, right decisions are not popular. Yes.
Wow. That's great. Maybe as we look forward to round up, what do you think the issue of money has become a factor in the rise of these faceless movements? Like, we have seen young people who you could think these ones are going to be the leader, but along the way, after a little meeting in some corner in some hotel, they lose it. What would be your advice to this vibrant generation if they have to bring the change? How should they handle that financial issue? That is it possible a young person can come forth and bring forth his ideas and is voted in, or do we now say when we are agitating our issues, we are Gen Zs, but when it comes to the funding, we behave like the traditional tax?
You see, let me ask you, let me answer you with the story, the scripture. When God destroyed the whole world with water, as the water was going down, they wanted to test if the water has gone down. Do you know what they did? When Noah wanted to test if water has gone down, what they did is that they sent a dove. Okay? If that dove, the dove was thrown through the window, if that dove went and came back, then it meant that the water is still high. Why? Because the dove did not find anywhere to perch. But if they sent a dove and the dove went like that and never came back, then it means that the dove found somewhere to perch and eat. That is why it did not come. Some of these people that come as leaders, once you send them
to go and check if the water
and
has subsidized,
they get somewhere they can perch, they remain there. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So what happens is this: there are people who were born to lead. There are people who have that kind of leadership aspect. That someone has misbehaved does not mean everyone will misbehave. The one who has been misbehaved should not be shown the way out, and another one be installed immediately, and life proceeds.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Maybe you are parting shot to Gen Z's generation.
Personally, I love Gen Zs. I can tell you for a fact. Yes, I'm a millennium, yes, but I can tell you for a fact, I have worked with Gen Zs. These people have a knack for technology. These people understand things back to back. And if you get the right one, Gen Zs understand things. What I would advise the Gen Zs is that, do you know there are some companies, there are some countries where certain contents cannot be watched. You can't watch nonsense on social media in those countries. They have systems that will block those things from reaching you. Why? Because they are wiring the minds of the citizen. They only allow educative content to circulate more. Why? Because of the kind of game they're playing in your mind. Since a place like Kenya may not have such kind of regulation, it's upon the individual to regulate the kind of content that they watch, because the mind is everything. If your mind is contaminated, expect a contaminated life. I wouldn't that. So the Gen Zs, what I would say is that the kind of content that we consume. When we had this gentleman from Guinea-Bissau, Belteshazzar Ngonga.
Yes.
This man that harvested more than 400 women. You remember that?
Yes.
Do you know there are people who still have the videos right now and they're still revising them?
They are still checking them out.
Yes. Now, the moment you revise them continually, look at them and keep revising them,
sticks in your mind.
You will have a nagging desire to go and execute.
To be an Egonga.
So that you can copy your mentor. And so on and so forth. So what I want to say is that the content that we consume is very, very important. You know, I made a video a few days ago where I say that the content of a room can be the content in the room can be determined by the size of the padlock, the size of the padlock. If you want to know that the content inside that room is serious,
Check the
look
padlock.
at the size of the padlock.
Wow.
They will not use, compare the padlock that is used to lock the bank and that is used to lock the toilet.
Some are not even.
Now, if I see someone locking a toilet with the padlock that is used in the bank, I will conclude that person is mad straight.
Yes.
But if you see, why? Because at the bank, they are protecting money.
And people's
While
vote,
in the toilet, they are protecting the toilet from intruders. Otherwise, no one can see the content of the toilet.
Yes. Wow.
So the kind of padlock that you put to stop, to access your mind and your life will tell us if you value your life or not. Are you with that? If anyone can jump into your life, if anyone can jump and put any content in your mind anyhow, then then we know very well that your mind.
You are like in a toilet. So.
That is a toilet which anyone can access. And of course, even that padlock, you can push it like that. But if you use serious padlock to block your mind, to block things, to sieve the kind of things that enter your mind, then we know that you have a future.
Wow.
That is it.
Oh, that's great, viewers. It has been a very great session. It's always a pleasure to have you, our brother Kelly from Kelly Inspiration. And it has been a great year. We look forward to another new year where we'll be sharing a lot so that we can keep enriching each other and raising a generation that will make this country a great country. My name is Odanga Pessah from Center for Youths. Hope to see you. We take this time to wish you a happy Merry Christmas and a happy new year. Thank you
in advance. Thank you so much, and bye-bye for now.